What's up, squad? This is Brandon from the Bantu Sun. Thank you so much for joining me today. There's been some recent developments that I thought was really important to revisit. The U.S. has froze nearly all of its foreign aid, with the exceptions of two countries that are most notable. And this goes a great length to understanding American foreign policy. Of course, one of those countries is going to be America's dear friend, Israel. And the second country is Egypt. Now, this is no surprise to me because we constantly talk about the key to European acquiescence, the key to keeping the Europeans on board is the Suez Canal. The Suez Canal has always been the Achilles heel of Europe because of those all the goods and resources that they can get from Asia and the markets they can access in the most expedient manner goes through the Suez Canal. Remember, so much of exploration around the world was trying to get to Asian markets for trade while trying to go around the Ottoman Empire and avoiding the Muslim controlled Middle East. Now, why is this so important? It's a number of reasons. I do remember looking at Gaza, and it looked as though the war, as people know, Hamas is still alive and well. But the war, it seemed egregious because it really seemed as if it was a war on infrastructure. It was a deliberate attempt to destroy buildings. It'd be different. Like if this was really about hostages, which it is to some degree, but if it was really about this, you would imagine it'd be a lot of intelligence work, raiding homes, like digging through attics and basements, whatnot, trying to get people, interrogate people, and that's not what I was seeing. I wasn't seeing this massive judicial oppression to find people, find these criminals, and find these hostages. But I did see a lot of destruction of infrastructure, which led me to believe. I initially believed that they were doing this uh, overkill on infrastructure because they wanted to rebuild on top of their own infrastructure. They wanted to maybe put tunnels, their own tunnels under the ground, maybe put their own communication networks under the ground, things that would allow them to operate in Gaza more efficiently if they ever have to come back. Now, the reason why this is interesting is because President Trump said something. It didn't surprise me because I heard it before. He talks about how beautiful real estate is in Gaza. And I've heard that before. Many people talk about, this Mediterranean climate, this beachside real estate. So I was surprised by that because many people say, Gaza, these Palestinians in Gaza can do anything they want and they want to make war where they can really, sell resorts. Now, I'm sure the Palestinians would think that is a far cry from what they actually want as far as a national independence. But people were talking about how they can economically develop the lives of the Palestinian people. So when Trump said, it's great real estate in Gaza, I didn't pay too much mind to it. But now I just read an article that says Trump is pushing. Because remember how we said, why doesn't the other Arab nations, why are they not coming out on the side of the Palestinians? And why are they not coming to their defense? Except the showmanship of the Houthis. Um, Now, Trump is trying to get Jordan, who has a lot of history with the Palestinians in the West Bank, but they're trying to get Jordan and Egypt to take more Palestinians. And this is very interesting because one, it shows you, as I said, Egypt imported with the Suez Canal. That's why they don't mess around with the Muslim Brotherhood. There was a war where France, UK, and Israel tried to take the Suez Canal from Egypt. Eisenhower put a kibosh to that thing and stopped it. And he basically said, look, Egypt, the deal kind of with America is Egypt, you remain independent as long as you stay on board. And I think that's always been the said without saying deal, compromise between the West and Egypt. And America has been a great supporter of Egypt through all this. And Egypt has held up their end of the bargain. They don't mess around. That's why when the Muslim Brotherhood get elected, they got them out so fast. They don't want issues like that. They have their military rule, and they have over 100 million people to deal with. In fact, about a third, up to a third of the Arab world are Egyptians. They are the demographic heartland of the Arab people. Nevertheless, as you see that you have Egypt right there, and it poses this critical position. And Trump is talking about these Palestinians going to Jordan and Egypt. One would start to wonder if maybe the Israelis weren't clearing the land to destroy Hamas, but clearing the land for development. I felt as though the Israelis weren't land hungry, but maybe enough is enough, and the opportunity presents themselves that why not take this last little sliver of land on their coastline. That Gaza's not that big, extremely densely populated, great real estate, as Trump says, and I just found that to be extremely interesting. Maybe the Israelis don't plan to leave Gaza at all, and maybe this might be the next settlement, just all out liquidate. I don't want to say liquidate, but to clear Gaza of Palestinians and get them taken in by other Arab countries. That would certainly be a drastic change of the situation and circumstance. And you got to imagine, Palestinians, those other countries not going to want them because they're quarrelsome. So we're on the lookout for that. But another thing, like seeing the role that Jordan, which is a longtime ally of the West, in Egypt, a great ally of the West, regardless if the PR doesn't say so, they it reminds me of a saying with the Middle East. It was saying that it was a famous quote from an article, and it said that Iraq is the tactical pivot, Saudi Arabia the strategic pivot, and Egypt is the prime. Iraq is the tactical pivot, Saudi Arabia is the strategic pivot, Egypt is the prize. That is so accurate, and I understood that immediately when I heard it. Iraq is tactical. It gets you a foothold, a beachhead in the Middle East. The geography is conducive. The resources are there. Saudi Arabia's strategic pivot. What do America want to do when they clamp down on Russia? They go to Saudi Arabia, who holds the key role on RPAC. But never forget, Egypt is the prize. It is the demographic heartland of Arabia, of the Arab people. You control Egypt, you can control the muscle, the demographic muscle of the Arab world. They are still the prize today. So we're going to continue to watch this unfold and see what is to become of Gaza and what are the Israelis' ambitions with that region. So if you have any insight, and would Jordanians and Egypt should open a door to these quarrelsome Palestinians, which they will be if they are removed from their land. If you have any insight, please comment below. We love to hear your thoughts. Like, share, subscribe if you enjoy the content. Until next time, take care. Bantu up.